what's going on. We've got kids at pride parades performing drag and transitioning. We've got trans adults dominating sports, drag queens in Blue's Clues, and an endless amount of pronouns. Something needs to be said. Here are my concerns. What's up, everybody? Today we'll be talking all about the gay community. Specifically, we'll be talking about my concerns with the LGBTQ community, because things are getting a little bit out of hand. Maybe not a little bit, a lot of it. It's getting out of hand, and truth be told, the gay community does not speak on my behalf. Why should what I do in private automatically define my worldview, politics, and culture?
He watches sports for fun. That's not gay.
How come if someone's gay, they have to be a part of the gay community? They're automatically thrown in this box of everything quote unquote gay. But if you're straight, you're just straight. All of a sudden, if you're gay, you're thrown in this little box of talk like this, act like this, love the drag queens, love the rainbows. It's uncalled for. Why should what I do behind closed doors have to define my entire worldview? Being black is merely just a part of me. Being gay is merely just a part of me. But first, I'm a mirror. That's my identity. That's how my personality is defined. It's a mirror. And far too often, I'm seeing people, especially the younger generation, come out as gay and feel like they have to be the stereotype. They feel like they have to change their voice. They have to wear the rainbows. They have to like the drag queens. They have to hop on Grindr. And that shouldn't be the case. I'm an individual with my own thoughts and my own mind. And so are you. No one should be allowing any characteristic of themselves to identify their entire world, their entire being. Because truth be told, and again, I mean this with the utmost respect, this community that's like equality and love and acceptance and diversity is a bunch of copy and paste clones. Because the second you have someone that has a different point of view, that operates differently, you shun them down. Why is that? I don't understand it. I don't know why all of a sudden, just because what someone does behind closed doors, they have to subscribe to this entire idea and its entire being, when that shouldn't be the case. My next concern, which is this idea that anyone who disagrees with anything gay, you're automatically homophobic. We should be allowed to voice our opinion.
Bruh, I had this problem all the time, especially when I make videos on this topic, because every time I make videos on Hollywood, video games, comics, TV shows, if it's something I don't like, all of a sudden I'm being called transphobic or homophobic because I've expressed my opinions on certain things, LGBTQ. It was like 2 years ago, I had one of the worst experiences in my life when I made that video about drag queens being around little kids and everything, even though I was in the right of expressing my truths about it, and I got flagged and I got blasted on YouTube because of people thinking that I'm being harsh or I'm being transphobic because of the way I talk. And looking back at it now, I did come off very aggressive, but I was just passionate because I just want kids to feel safe. You know what I'm saying? There are some real certain creeps out there that really think that they're women and everything, that want to be around kids, and you know, in the back of your mind, they have certain ill intentions of being around children. And I think the thing that really bothers me about the LGBT and the trans community, the binary community, or whatever you call it, they always assume that just because a straight person that is exposing the truth, that is expressing his opinions on certain things, they always label you and accusing you of being transphobic and homophobic because you wouldn't date them. Like, first of all, I like booty. I like women. I don't like men. So as soon as you say that, they're gonna accuse you of being just that. It's like, we live in a society where if you don't want to date a trans person, if you don't want to date men, then that makes you a transphobic or homophobic idiot. It's like, what has this world come to, bruh? It's like, don't nobody want to accept the truth or understand the real reasons as to why a lot of people, certain people, don't want to celebrate LGBT community, and yes, I have friends in my family that are gay, and you don't see me discriminating against them. So just because it's Pride Month doesn't mean you should force all of that crap onto people's throats. I don't get it. So this part, yeah, he's touching on things that I've been having issues with for years. And last year, I got into it with somebody on Instagram when I made a video about Sofia Vergara and her son not liking spicy foods because he's Latina. Like, I made a comment that you shouldn't force things on the people that they don't like. And all of a sudden, my comment has turned into, oh, about what's gonna happen if your son or daughter turns gay. I'm like, what? How does my comment go from you shouldn't be forcing things onto your child of things that they don't like, all of a sudden turns into me not liking the fact that their son or daughter is being gay? And boy, I went off on that, because now all of a sudden you're just throwing words into my mouth. You're throwing words into things that I did not say about what you're talking about. It's like we live in a world where Gen Zs are just taking over and are programmed into things that we don't understand. This whole pronouns thing, like it's God, like I could go on and on and on about this, because I have some of the worst experience with the LGBT community on social media, because whenever you express your truth, they will attack you one way or another. They will eat your throat.
Without being scared of being called transphobic, homophobic, whatever it may be. There's a strong difference between someone disagreeing with gay people versus being homophobic. You can disagree with gay people all day long. You can not like what they do all day long. But as long as you treat me with respect, as long as you're not scared of me, you're shunning me away, you're not homophobic in my book. As a grown adult, you have the right to your own opinion and your own values. I don't care what you think. I do care if you're trying to stop me from progressing and you're not and trying to make sure that I'm not seen as equal as you.
Exactly.
I care about that. Context matters, and typically when someone says they don't like gay people, they're really referring to not liking the gay community and the gay culture, not that individual. They don't care what that individual does in private, but they care about all the things that are happening within the gay culture and the gay community. That's what they don't like. There's a lot of gay people who feel the same way. There's a lot of gay people who don't subscribe and do not
but
like
they don't want to research it.
LGBTQ plus community because of how harsh they are and all the things.
And I agree with that as well. They don't want to like do research on certain gay people that really don't like anything about the LGBT community, because it's all cash grab. Ever since politics got involved, it's been downhill ever since. And here, I thought being gay is about feeling good about yourself and what you like. Now, all of a sudden, has been turned into what we got right now. The media's gotten involved, politics gotten involved. It's like they've turned LGBT into a global phenomenon, and it's scary. It's scary.
That are currently going on in our nation. If someone asked me in passing, Amir, do you support the gay community? I would say no. In 2023, no. To the extent that...
By the way, this is like last year, so but I want y'all to see this.
To straight people in this nation and have the same rights, yes, I support those efforts. But when it comes to this entire other agenda, this entire other sphere, an extension of the LGBTQ plus community, I disagree with it. We went from fighting for the right for marriage to now allowing kids to transition. I don't get it. How did
in the state of California, of course.
Don't get it. I do get it because not a lot of people are speaking up about it, which is frustrating in its own sphere. But all of this is just driving me up a wall. My next concern with the LGBTQ community is how everything is grouped together. The LGB has nothing to do with the TQ+. They need to be split up. They need to be their own groups, their own nonprofits, their own missions. All the progress that's been made to make everyone equal and gay acceptance, I feel like it's being washed away because of how radical the TQ+ side of things has become. The root word of sexuality is sex. There's male and there's female, and the main difference between the two is a penis and a vagina. That's it. The only reason someone's gay is because...
Yo, I like the way he broke it down. And I think that's what society has been forgetting these days. This is about Adam and Eve. You know, what's in the Bible. A man and a woman. If a man has a penis, he's a man. If a woman has a vagina, she's a woman. When you think about it, that's the way relationships are supposed to be. Now I feel like they try to force all of this agendas between couples, and feminism has completely destroyed society as a whole. I think sometimes in general in society we forget about who we are as people, instead of worrying about what others are doing on social media. Hey, let's try this trend, let's do this trend. But you're not even focusing on your own life. If you got personal issues that you need to work on it, instead of worrying about what people do on social media. But if it gets to a point where if people cannot focus on what's going on in their own lives, they're going to be sucked into this social media train wreck, to the point where their minds are programmed into believing anything they read on social media, and they're going to believe the nonsense, and they're going to become more 10 times delusional than before. And that's why it's so hard to break it down to these people. I mean, you know what they say, you can't fix stupid, you can't argue with people, so your best options are to just keep your mouth shut and just move on. Let them believe in this delusional bubble all they want, but in 5 years they're going to realize how stupid they are. When a certain person was trying to tell them something, all of a sudden it'll become too late for them.
They like the same sex. The only reason someone's bisexual is because they like both sexes. The only reason someone's straight is because they only like the opposite sex. Penis, vagina, that's it. Full stop. That's what it means to be gay. That's what it means to be straight. That's what it means to be bisexual. And now you have the TQ+, which is all expression, being lumped into what it means to be gay, straight, or like, at the end of the day, the trans, the non-binaries, the they, thems, all that, you still only like one or two or both things. And there's a real issue that's happening now regarding trans people and gays and lesbians. Because trans people are erasing what it means to be gay and to be a lesbian. Because I'm gay based off of sex. I'm gay because I'm a male that likes males. Lesbians are females who like females. Again, we're going back. This is like, I feel like I'm explaining such a simple concept, but for some reason it's gotten so misconstrued. Sexuality, root word sex, sex, male, female, penis, vagina. Now we live in this world where we're saying trans women are women and trans men are men. Okay, let's pause here. If we're saying trans men are men and trans men, they're not just men, we're saying trans men because they're transitioning from one gender to another. A trans man is now a man. What does that make me? Because I don't.
That's a burning question, bruh.
Trans man has.
That is a burning question.
I'm literally relying on science and the actual definition of what it means to be a gay man. I only like the male genitalia. So by telling.
You know what? Once again, I like what he said here. Like, no matter how many times you try to speak your piece, people online will never agree with you. They will always look at you sideways when you say that trans women are not women. And when I say trans women are not women, it's because, number one, they still have a penis inside them. You're still a man at the end of the day. And I've said this 100 times on here and on social media. The only way to become a woman, you're going to have your penis chopped off. You have to allow your boobs to develop. You also have to allow your voice, your Adam's apple, and your mind as a man to develop as a woman. That's the only way you become a woman. But until then, you still have a penis inside of you. You're still a man at the end of the day. That's the honest truth. But as soon as I say that on social media, what is the first thing that the LGBT community does? Overreact. They start a lot of fights. They cause drama. And they accuse you of being trans and homophobic. And they laugh at your face when you express your truths. And that's why I've always said I don't support, I'm not saying I don't support it, but I don't take the community seriously, because it's like sometimes they don't even understand themselves. I don't care if I get canceled or if I get attacked in this video, so what? He's expressing his truth, I'm expressing my opinions on it. And I thought we all have the right to express how we feel. And I sometimes wish that the trans community could just stop being so delusional about being women when you're still a man at the end of the day. There's this one content creator who is a transgender. Like, I like watching him a lot. It admits that he's still a man at the end of the day because he chose to transition because it was his decision. And I have nothing but respect for it. It's your life, it's your choice. But at the same time, he still recognizes that he's still a man. He's not a woman. Yes, he has boobs and he has a butt, but he still has a penis inside of him. At least he understands who he is as a person. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, the link will be down below. Because y'all really need to understand what I'm trying to say here. Sometimes you cannot continue to just live in this delusional bubble in life. You're going to have to come to grips with reality of who you are as a person. And I'm not, listen, I'm not trying to come on here and hate on gay people and trans people. Do what you want to do. But I'm not going to understand you at the same time, because if you want to be delusional, that's where you lost me.
Me that I need to accept that someone who is trying to be another gender, they are that gender? They are that sex? No. That's literally erasing what it means to be gay. If you're telling people trans women are women, and at this point in age in 2023, to be trans doesn't even mean you need to have the surgery. You can just say you are trans and that's that. What does it mean for a lesbian, a biological woman, to go on a date with a trans woman? That you're telling me a trans woman is a woman. That lesbian does not want male genitalia. Like, it's making me feel crazy. Like, how the hell am I transphobic now by not wanting to be with a trans man?
That's crazy.
When the only reason I'm gay,
that's how they do,
is because I like men. I don't get it, y'all. I'm confused.
That's how they do.
I don't get it. I don't get this community at all. These people who are trans, I'm literally saying the word, they're trans. They're transitioning from one sex to another. Male, female, there's only two options. No matter how much surgery, how much they assimilate, at the end of the day, their sex will always be their sex. You can't tell me that someone with a whole vagina and uterus is a man just because they're saying they're a man and that's what they want to identify as. That's not how this works. That's not real. This is not real life. I don't understand why this is seen as hateful, but there will never be a situation where a trans man is a man. A trans woman is a woman. They are a trans woman. They are a trans man. And they should be recognized as that. My next concern regarding the LGBTQ community is Pride Month.
It's not just about gay.
Here we go.
Sexual gay.
This is what I want to talk about.
If you've been watching, they've been all sexual and shimming and everything. And
look at this.
Naked sailors and whatnot. So I think it's more about this sexualized culture, and it's almost kind of sexualizing young children.
Yeah, kids involved too.
I think it's a little
nah.
And why not celebrate gay without celebrating sexuality? There's people with their butt cheeks hanging out. I think it's a little inappropriate to bring your kids here, but they're all about it.
I don't think we need an entire month to celebrate who we have sex with. And if anything, this Pride Month has turned into a huge marketing month.
That's what I was just talking about in the beginning of the video.
Stood for what they're saying, and they really felt like gay lives matter, and they felt the pride Maybe they would represent it in the countries where it matters most, the countries where gay people are killed.
Yeah, I remember
Maybe that'd
that.
be a thing. But no. In America, everything's rainbow. In the Middle East, everything's black and white. Why is that? Why aren't you making changes and initiatives in the countries that matter most? Why are you just using gay people for clout? All in all, like, when it comes to the pride parades, it's just so unfortunate to see what could be a very cool event. But no, it's a who wears the least parade. Not to mention the amount of kids that are attending, which I find to be abhorrent. Like, that's just wild to me.
Why?
People dressed completely wild. And there's kids around. What? Who allowed this? I don't think it's acceptable.
Man, just looking at that is really making me cringe because, number one, you failed as a parent for not keeping your child safe and not protecting your child from what's going on in society. For one thing, you got drag queens that are in elementary schools teaching kids how to shimmy. I made tons of TikTok videos on Facebook talking about this and reacting to this. And a lot of people in that video were 100% against them. But there are some that don't find anything wrong with what the drag communities are doing with the kids. I personally have a problem with it because, number one, the last thing I want to fear is them doing certain things to kids. Not all drag queens are like that, but I'm just speaking from facts here. What kills me about this is that there's a video of a pastor that is confronting a drag queen in a church full of weird parents and their kids trying to learn this so-called lesson with the drag queen. And he got liberated by trying to speak the truth, and they all laughed, they booed at him, and they put their hands on him and stuff because he tried to wake y'all stupid parents up. It's like, I don't know what's worse, Pride Month or the left parents that are also, I don't want to say the W word, but you get the point I'm trying to make. The reason why I'm having issues with this is because, one, kids should not be involved in any of these pride stuff. They should learn all of that as they get older, not when they're young. I get you want to teach the kids about all of this, but this is not the time. Let the kids be kids and leave the kids alone. That's where I draw the line here.
For a little 6-year-old to go to a pride parade and see all these drag queens and see people in Speedos and nipple tassels, like, for what? What are we celebrating anymore? What is this? What is this? I genuinely just do not get it. My next concern is the over-sexualization and involvement of children.
Uh-huh.
Hi, everybody.
Exactly.
Who here knows what gay pride means?
Oh, God.
Like all the gay people, transgender, lesbian, bisexual people gather up and celebrate.
That's absolutely right. It's a celebration
Hey, yo!
of sexual diversity. I mean, everybody should aspire to grow up and be a gay icon.
That's what Pride is all
the
about.
You're right. See you at Pride, everybody.
Why can't we?
Oh, God.
They are too young to be thinking about anything sex. And I mean this for both straight and gays. I mean this across the board. Why are kids at Hooters? Why are kids at pride parades?
This is why I'd rather have my son. No, this is why I'd rather have my son being homeschooled. My son or my daughter. I don't trust these schools. I don't trust what's going on, because if there's somebody who was LGBT community, which I have no problem with it. If you're gay, no issue. But if you want to force all of that crap into my children, have them wearing dresses and everything, yeah, I'm taking them out of here.
They're child pageant shows. Why are we dolling up 2-year-olds in a full glam makeup and bikini? All of it's weird. When it comes to sexuality, leave these kids alone. This extends to even kids shows.
Trans members of this family all love each other so proudly, and they all go marching in the big
You have got to be kidding me.
LGBTQ marketing towards children.
Now look, to be fair, in Power Rangers Dawn of Fury, at least it was done right by having Easy confirm that she's in love with her girl. So she's a lesbian. I mean, at least Power Rangers did something right by doing it the right way without being forced. But this, nah.
It just needs to stop. What are you doing on Blue's Clues? Why is there dolphins with cut marks as if the dolphins transitioned? Why are there pansexual beavers? Like what? I can't even believe I'm even talking about this. How is this real life? How is the thing that exists? How is the thing that we're watching that someone actually sat down and created? How and why? We're children. Leave sex out of it. Full stop. Period. Done. Complete kapwash. Just leave them out. Just leave them out. Leave them out. Leave the kids alone.
Please.
I don't know why I gotta keep saying it. Leave them out of it. My next concern, why are drag queens so hell-bent on performing in front of children?
My point exactly. Look at this. Look at this.
I'm dumbfounded at the link between people try to make between a drag queen and a kid. Why do drag queens feel the need to read to children? Why are you teaching them how to twerk?
And you're crouched down into this sort of position here, so your bum's sticking out. Hope you're taking this all in. And then you just move your bum up and down like that.
What?
That's twerking.
Why are you having children perform?
Oh, come on, bruh.
Question why? I do not get it. I do not condone it. I think it just all needs to be gone. And again, leave the children alone. See, gay relations in America, I feel like was pretty much fine.
You want to know the sad thing about this video is I see parents that are encouraging all of this mess and bringing their child into seeing something like this. That is what makes me so upset, because if I were to be a father, I will never in my life take my child anywhere into places like that. Kids don't need to see this. They don't need to know all of that. Even sad about this is there are parents out there that are really, really all about it, that don't care if their child likes it or not. They the ones should be in jail, because number one, that's child endangerment and child abuse. Why do you think certain things happen to kids that come out as gay because of something happened to them when they were young, being molested in elementary school or some middle schools? Because the police would not do anything about it. They just expect kids to just stay silent and stay quiet. Because if the child is telling you that something happened to them in school, you have to do your job as the authority to take action into what is going on in schools. And parents should always take action into believing in child. Because that's why kids turn out so confused and all messed up, because of childhood trauma of what's going on with them since they were kids. And unfortunately nowadays, you got parents that are taking their children to Pride Parade, and it's a mess.
Dad, not really much happening. Then the kids came in the picture. And that's when everything started changing, going to an uproar. Rightfully so. I don't understand why the drag queens feel the need to be around children. This idea that it should be accepted for drag queens to frolic and dance and read in front of toddlers, I don't know why it needs to exist. I don't know why it's ever became a thing, but it shouldn't exist. My next concern, kids transitioning.
Uh-huh.
If you're a boy or a girl?
Look at this mess.
Okay. Phoenix would like you to know that she's a girl and she prefers she and her pronouns.
I've done too much.
Oh, this is crazy.
These children have no idea what's going on.
Oh, this is getting so hard to watch.
Smoke, drink, drive, vote. A kid can't even get a tattoo because it's permanent on their body.
Because of their stupid parents.
We're okay with them making permanent decisions, life-changing decisions, because of the way they're feeling. Have we forgot that they're children? Why is it seen as okay to put kids on puberty blockers? Why is it seen as okay to give children mastectomies?
My name is Chloe Cole, and I'm an 18-year-old detransitioner from the Central Valley of California.
I heard about this story. It's just ridiculous, bro.
I was transgender when I was 12 years old, and I was fast-tracked onto medicalization at 13, starting with puberty blockers and testosterone, before I went on to get a mastectomy at 15, and I stopped transitioning at 16 when I realized that I had regretted my transition and that it was starting to cause me emotional and also physical harm.
This community is saying, love yourself as who you are.
You can love yourself for who you are, but you don't have to transition into what God made you to be. And you notice that certain trans people in America are regretting transitioning because of what their parents told them or what they taught them, because you know certain parents shouldn't be having kids if you're going to force your child to transition all because of your personal agenda, because you want to feel good about what you've done as a parent. And what you see in that clip of the mother telling everybody that she wants to identify as a female because of her pronouns, that's how you know that we live in a world where society has become a joke. You can't make this up. And the thing that really disgusts me about this whole thing is that you have certain parents out here that just don't care about their child's feelings and future, but you want to transition them as they get to a certain age when they're young. You can't even allow your child to be a child. All I know for sure is that parents shouldn't be having kids if you're not willing to be good parents and be responsible for your child. It's another thing to force transitioning onto your children, especially with their newborn, because there's a new show about a transgender woman. Well, she's still a man at the end of the day because he transitioned since he was 13 into a woman. And the mother, I don't know how she was not being held accountable for the decision to have her son transition without their knowledge. They didn't ask for this. It just happened. Like, y'all gotta do better as parents, bruh.
Be yourself. But then we're also telling them, in order to be yourself, you have to modify your body so that you feel comfortable. Okay, but what happened is being comfortable in my skin? What happened is owning who I am as a person? If I'm a flamboyant man, I'm a flamboyant man. Why all of a sudden, if I'm a flamboyant man or there's a flamboyant boy, he has to go get breasts. He has to chop off body parts. Like, what happened is accepting each other and accepting our lives as we are. What happened to that? Seems a bit hypocritical to me. Got people yelling, be yourself, and then you got other people saying, in order to be yourself, you have to have surgery. What are we doing here? Especially involving children.
Exactly.
Right into my next concern is the LGBTQ community not highlighting and talking about people who are detransitioning and talking about the harms and the risk that come with transitioning.
Exactly.
Well, I learned my lesson, but my breast.
The one on the right, go subscribe to her. He's cool. Even though he's a woman now, but I still consider him as cool because I love his videos. I love how he's exposed to the LGBT and this whole left-wing agendas on social media and why everybody's minds is all screwed up right now. I like the way that she's exposing it. He or she, don't matter. She's cool. Go subscribe to her channel. The link will be down below.
Are never coming back, and it's like it's a much more profound loss than I have ever, like, it's a worse mistake than I've ever made in my life ever before. I absolutely felt like my life was ruined.
No one's talking about that.
At
No
all.
one's talking about how you have to have a chunk of your forearm taken out to create other body parts.
Oh God.
No one's talking about a lifelong prescription to pills. No one's talking about all the health effects that happen on later in life as you grow up.
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance.
Oh,
I
shit.
get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
No one's talking about all that.
Wow, bro.
No one's highlighting the people who have detransitioned and bringing up this topic. Claire White has done an amazing job at highlighting this. And you can YouTube it and you'll find a bunch of people who are sharing their story. It's like, even they're shunned out of the community. What happened to uplifting their voices? What happened to just...
And that's the thing I want to bring up too, because Dave Chappelle made a joke about the trans community, and I've stated this years ago. You don't like it when straight people joke about gay people, right? But you wouldn't have a problem with gay people telling jokes about gay people. Trans people cracking jokes about the trans community. But you don't like it when a straight person does it. So, Dave Chappelle was friends with a transgender woman. And she committed suicide because they were bullying her and all this other crap. And to think that the trans community was supposed to be representing one another, they're not. The same can be said about the LGBT community, because if you're not about representing one another in your community, then why even bother being gay in the first place? And I'm not trying to be transphobic or anything, I'm just expressing the truth here. So if you're gonna bully a transgender while y'all's group are the trans community, then you're also a part of the problem. Make it make sense.
Sharing information with people. All of a sudden, by sharing the transitioner story, you're being transphobic because you're denying someone from being trans. You're trying to persuade them out of being it. It's like, no. I'm giving them the full story. I'm giving them the full scoop. That brings me into my next and final concern. We've gone through a lot of concerns regarding the gay community. Is trans sports versus women's sports.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Here's the deal.
We're getting to nitty gritty, y'all.
About how there's a LGB and then there's a trans, and how there's sex and biology, and then there's expression. They're getting muddled now, especially in sports, because you have biological men saying that they're women and then competing against women.
Whose ideas was it anyway?
Spectrum, obviously, not every female.
I want to know whose idea was it to have a biological men to compete in women's sports when they, quote unquote, identify as females. Whose idea was it anyway? Because now you're making biological women look stupid, and some of them want to quit playing sports because there's too many men taking over women's sports. I mean, this is utter ridiculous. And all of that is coming from the trans community, because transgender men that are calling themselves competing in women's sports, they're taking every women's titles. And there was this one trans swimmer, well, a male swimmer that was competing in women's sports. He's now banned from all women Olympic sports. And I say it's about time they did that, because you can't call yourself a woman if you're still a man and you're competing in women's swimming team. You're taking up all of the medals and now you're banned. And I gotta tell y'all something too, because I did a video covering this story a while back about a woman having her Planet Fitness gym membership revoked because there was a man that is in a woman's locker room getting dressed up and she recorded him and she took pictures of him. Because one, who are you to walk inside of a woman's restroom or locker rooms when you're not even a woman? And of course, Planet Fitness backtracks. No. They double down and defended their decision that anybody that has a problem with a trans person walking inside a women's locker room, you're not welcome in the gym. I get that loving people and everything, but I get that loving people and accepting people for who they are. I get that. But what I do have a problem with is you're not fixing the issue that went viral that caused the media to have a discussion about it. And let me tell you what happened though. 6% of people that go to Planet Fitness are now decreasing because of this whole story going viral. Because they're not willing to stop trans men from going into women's locker rooms and getting dressed up and everything. I've seen stories of articles talking about how a 16-year-old biological female have seen trans people inside locker rooms getting butt naked with their ding dogs hanging out, and sees butt naked teenage girls and women inside of a women's locker room. And they don't even see the issues with it. Because what if something would have happened to her? What, you could defend that person's actions on that as well? This is the left. This is the left. This is why I've always said, if you're gonna have trans women or men walk inside men or female restrooms or locker rooms, you might as well just create a third locker room for the trans community. Or better yet, create a sporting event for the transgender people that could be exclusive for them, instead of having the trans people compete in women's sports. Having them walk inside women's locker rooms, knowing full well that there would be issues that comes with it, and if they're not willing to fix it, somebody will. Because this has gone way too far, bro. And I know this video is from last year, but I want y'all to watch this video with me as I discuss my opinions as well as his opinions on certain things the LGBT community need to fix within themselves.
Not every trans man or trans female is super athletic and they can absolutely dominate and win, because there are female like MMA fighters who can like jump me. Like, I'm not saying that these anomalies don't exist. What I am saying is that the average male can overpower a woman. That's not being sexist. That's not being anti-feminist. That's just basic biology. That's why we have two different realms, two different sports, two different leagues, male and female, because typically the males will dominate the female. I do not think it should be socially acceptable for anyone to just say they're any gender and go out and win scholarships, win sports events. We need to protect the people who are in the sports right now and accommodate the trans. I think a trans league would be awesome.
Exactly.
A trans league would sell tickets out the woo-ha. A trans football league.
That's what I've been saying that.
Like, come on now. Biological men be men.
Who wouldn't want to see that?
Biological women be women, and the trans people be trans in their own lane. I'm not saying they shouldn't do sports. I'm just saying you need to have your own lane. Just don't like this idea that there are actual men competing against women and winning. And it's not transphobic to point it out. No one's being hateful. No one's being hateful by saying Leah Thomas should not be on a female swimming league. That's not
exactly what I've been saying.
That's just I want to protect biological women. I understand the advantage that biological men have over biological women. It's not hateful. It's science. In conclusion, the defining factor of an individual, the defining factor of you, should not be your race, your religion, your sexuality, where you live, your favorite influencer, your favorite entertainer. It should be you. You are a perfect blend of all the things that you consume, love, and like. I don't understand why we need the need for all these different labels, all these different genders, all these different pronouns. Like, what happened to just being our personality? What happened to being Amir? Our name. We have a name for a reason. That's our label. I'm identified as Amir. Someone says Amir, I look. Amir is a combination of everything that I love, that I like, that my hobbies. That's Amir. The feminine traits, the masculine traits, all of it. That's who I am. I don't need all these labels and check marks to define who the hell I am. And neither should you. We shouldn't be in this society, in this day and age, where people feel the need to have all these different pronouns and different titles for their sexualities and how they're a little bit more feminine than masculine. And it's just it's like a look at me contest. This community has gotten completely derailed. I'm not being irrational here. There's genuine concerns. I don't understand a lot of what's going on. And I really just dislike this idea that because I'm gay, because I am engaged to a man, that automatically I subscribe to everything that they're doing. No. So why this video is being made, because there's a lot of people out there who agree with me who just can't speak up. They can't say these things because they're going to get canceled, and they have to pay the bills. They have to provide to their family. And I just wish we're at a point in society where we can just actually sit down and have a conversation. So all in all, thank you for taking the time to watch.
I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video here. He said it. A lot of things that were factful about the trans community, the LGBT community, and the binary community in general, and why I personally think that there needs to be a serious discussion of what needs to change within the community itself. Just because you're gay, that doesn't mean that you have to be a part of the LGBT community, because all that is just cash grab. That's all that is. They turn LGBTQ into a global phenomenon, a global marketing that is forcing all of this into people's throats, especially the children of all people. And I agree with it said. You want to protect women, you want to protect females, and you want to protect the children. And that's the point of this video of him, is expressing his concerns and expressing his opinions and spreading facts as much as I did. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, nobody is hating on one another. All we're doing is just expressing our opinions and facts. If you want to call us homophobic, transphobic because of what we said and what I said, go right ahead. I don't care. Cancel me. Do whatever. I'm just a guy that is expressing his truth. That's all I'm doing. And since this is pretty much Pride Month, so I wanted to come here and react to this video because I think y'all need to know the truth. So shout out to this content creator. Link to the original video will be down below, as well as another content creator that I mentioned in this video. That will be down below as well. I'm out.